Happy New Year, and this is the start of a new story. The protagonist is called Mig, an graduated college student that found himself against an infection that has overruns his home. This time they got into the military's evacuation zones. Could he be able to escape, or would he learn more about this disaster? This is his story, and how he faces the end of the world. Zombies S.A. MLA Chapter 3. The Convoy Rizal Park, Manila, Day 5. The Last Stand. The convoy was real. Mig stood at the edge of Rizal Park, the air thick with smoke, gunpowder, and the metallic tang of blood. Around him, hundreds of survivors, mothers clutching children, elderly leaning on canes, young men with rifles slung over their shoulders, pushed forward, their faces a mix of relief and terror. The park, once a place of picnics and protests, was now a war zone. APCs and light tanks rumbled through the gates, their caterpillar tracks crushing debris under their weight. Soldiers in full combat gear moved with disciplined urgency, directing civilians into armored trucks and medical tents. The Barangi Tanids from Barangi 175 had joined forces with the military, forming a perimeter around the triage center. Sandbags, barbed wire, and overturned jeepneys served as makeshift barricades, while spotlights cut through the rain, illuminating the chaos. A soldier with a bloodstained bandage on his arm grabbed Mig's shoulder. "Ay caudito, you here?" He pushed Miggs toward a medical tent, where nurses and scrubs moved between wounded survivors lying on cots. Some screamed as medics cut away infected flesh. Others whispered prayers, their skin already mottled with black veins. Miggs froze. He wasn't the only one. A soldier with a bite on his neck was strapped to a gurney, his eyes wild. "Waganyo Akongawanan. Don't leave me," he begged, but the nurse only shook her head and injected him with something. His body convulsed, then went still. "Dilahain Kagadai Kamatayan," the nurse said calmly to Miggs. "Not every bite is a death sentence. Kung Malakazon Katawan Mo at Agad Kong Nag Pagamat, Puid Kam Abuhe. If your body is strong and you get treated fast, you might still live." Miggs looked at his arm. The veins were spreading, but slower now. The antibiotics from the Barangi had bought him time. "Say oh, a soldier said, handing him a field dressing kit. "Help yourself, bro. May MGA Gamut Dian Para Sayo. There's medicine in there for you." Miggs nodded, applying the antiseptic, swallowing the pills. Outside, helicopters roared overhead, dropping bombs on the bio tower in the distance, the foreman's new base. Explosions lit the sky, casting flickering shadows over the sea of survivors. The evacuation. Women and children were loaded first, into trucks with boarded-up sides, their windows covered in salt-lined tarps to keep the infected out. Drivers, jeepney operators, taxi drivers, even a few bus conductors, volunteered to ferry survivors to the provinces, where the military promised safety. Special action forces and scout rangers coordinated near the park's fountain, planning incursions into infected territories, saving VIPs, disrupting horde movements, ensuring the evacuation's success. Radios blared with instructions for civilians. "Magtego sa lubing sasakyan. Wag lamabas kayat kanino. Stay inside the vehicles. Don't open the doors for anyone. Kung may Nikita Keong infected, agad na pagbigay. If you see infected, report immediately. Wag kalamutanong MGA gamut. Yanong magsasadjap sa inyo. Don't forget your meds. That's what will save you." Barangi Captain Renato stood near the command tent, barking orders into a walkie-talkie. His face was grim, his arm bandaged from a recent skirmish. "Nandito pa rin tayo," he said, clapping Mig's shoulder. "We're still here. Pero marami pa rin ang nawawala. But many are still missing." Miggs followed his gaze. Soldiers loading the wounded onto stretchers. Civilians boarding trucks, their faces gaunt with fear and exhaustion. A Tanid running up, his shirt stained with blood. "Sir, may ambush sa condo site. Di na nakabalik ang MGA Tao Ninyo." "Sir, there's an ambush at the condo site. Your people didn't make it back." Renato's face darkened. "Ilong Tao. How many?" "Limong Tanid. Dalawang Pamilya. 5 enforcers. 2 families." Silence. Then Renato turned to Miggs. "Kailang in namining MGA Mata sa Langit. We need eyes in the sky. May drone ka, DBA? You have a drone, right?" Miggs nodded. "Gamitin mo yan. Hanapin mo young MGA nawawala. Use it. Find the missing." Renato looked at his infected arm, then sighed. "Tulungan mo kami, Tol. Help us, bro." Miggs knew the risk. But he also knew he owed Renato. And with the drone, He could assess the situation before jumping in. Siggy. Fine. The treatment. The nurse, Aling Maricel, pulled Miggs aside. Megamit kana, she said. You've got medicine now. Pero kaling and emopang ibang bagay. But you need something else. She handed him a list. High-protein food, canned meat, eggs, peanuts. Vitamins to boost immunity. No stress, she smirked at this. Wagmong hyang cumulat payen. Don't let it spread further. Kung tumajil ka sa paginaming gamit mamamate ka. If you stop taking the meds, you'll die. Miggs pocketed the list. Salamat, T. Thanks, sis. She patted his shoulder. Balik ka pagatapos mission mo. Come back after your mission. The scavengers prep. By nightfall, Miggs was gearing up. Drone, talon modified with a thermal cam, a built-in speaker to lure infected away. Crossbow, bolts tipped with bleach from his sink. Armor, welded speaker plating over his jacket, a hard hat for protection. Map, marked with safe zones, military checkpoints, and danger zones where Hari were spotted. A soldier tossed him a walkie-talkie. Pagme Nikita ka tawagan agad. If you see anything, call immediately. Miggs tested the drone's feed. Tonda's streets glowed green on the thermal screen. Movement. Lots of it. Ingat ka, Renato said. Be careful. Miggs nodded. Then he launched the drone. And saw them. The engineers. The drone feed flickered. A group of infected, not mindless, moving with purpose, surrounding a building. Not just any building. A small office, its windows boarded, a makeshift turret mounted on the roof, spitting bullets into the horde. Anoyen, Miggs muttered. Then he saw the sign spray-painted on the wall. Engineers, we are alive, help. The infected screamed, lunging, then the turret whirred, mowing them down. A voice crackled over the walkie-talkie, static, then clear. Maytao ba dun? Wag keong lumapit. May bomba kami. Is anyone there? Don't come closer. We've got bombs. Miggs grabbed his gear. May Nikita Akeo, he radioed back. I found something. The Barangi's last stand. Back at the Barangi compound, Captain Renato and his Tanids were holding the line. Not running, not hiding, but actively searching the city for survivors. Volunteers combed abandoned buildings, calling out for stragglers. Drivers raced through side streets, picking up anyone still alive. Soldiers fired at the infected, buying time for the evacuation. But the army was stretched thin. If they failed to hold the hordes, everything would be lost. Miggs knew he had to move fast. Toloy! Kuya Boyat's voice whispered in his head. He ignored it. Di patepos too, he growled. This isn't over. And with that, he vanished into the night. Zombies SA MOLA Chapter 3. The Convoy, The Rescue, Tonda, Manila, Night of Day 5. The drone's eye. Miggs crouched on the rooftop of a half-collapsed apartment, the drone's thermal feed flickering. Below, dozens of infected surrounded a boarded-up office, their movements too coordinated. A makeshift turret on the roof spat bullets, cutting down the horde, but the infected kept coming, dragging debris to shield themselves. A voice crackled over the walkie-talkie. Maytao ba dun? Wag keong lumapit. May bomba kami. Is anyone there? Don't come closer. We've got bombs. Miggs adjusted the drone, zooming in. The office's windows were barricaded, but the infected weren't mindless. They moved like a unit, flanking the building. Nandito Akeo, Miggs whispered into the radio. I'm here. Barangi 175. May Plano Akeo. Sundan Enyo Langong Sinasabi Ko. Barangi 175. I have a plan. Just follow my lead. Silence. Then, Sino Ka. Who are you? Talong Lang. Just here to help. The distraction. Miggs scanned the area. A nearby rooftop had a charging port for solar panels. He sprinted, leaping across alleys, using fire escapes to stay hidden. The infected sniffed the air, but their eyes stayed on the office. He plugged the drone in, then pulled out his crossbow. Bleach-tipped bolts. One shot. A gas tank on a burned-out tricycle exploded, sending fire into the horde. The infected screeched, scattering. Nayan! Takbo na! Miggs barked into the radio. Now! Run! The engineers escape. The office door burst open. 3 people sprinted out, a woman with a laptop, a man with a welding torch, and another carrying a rifle. Toloy! Sajip! Miggs shouted, covering them with crossbow fire. An infected lunged. He put a bolt through its skull. It dropped, twitching. The woman, Dr. Reyes, glanced at him as they reached the jeepney. Salamat! Pero bakit ka tamuchalong? Thanks. But why help us? Utang na lub, Miggs grunted, reloading. Debt of gratitude. The man with the torch swung at an infected climbing the jeepney's side. Ano young mga yen. De normal. What the hell are those? They're not normal. Miggs didn't answer. His eyes were on the rooftops. Something moved. Too fast. The hunter. A shadow leaped from a building, crashing onto the jeepney's hood. The thing was hulking, its body covered in bone-like growths, claws scraping metal. Wag hum into. Miggs yelled at the driver. Don't stop. The engineer with the torch swung. The claws deflected the blow, sending him flying. Miggs fired. The bolt pierced its arm, but it didn't stop. It hissed, lunging. Crash. The jeepney swerved, throwing the creature off. Miggs jammed the torch into its chest. It screamed, burning before collapsing. Silence. Dr. Reyes stared at the smoking corpse. Anoyan. What was that? Miggs wiped bleach from his face. Mangangawa ng mga hari. A worker for the kings. Mangangawa? Ginagawa nilang sundalo ang mga nahuhuli. Yes. They turned captives into soldiers. The jeepney's radio crackled. Miggs. May problemang malala. Miggs. We've got a big problem. Capitan Renato's voice. Miggs grabbed the radio. Ano yun? What is it? Dalawang tanid hinulay. 2 enforcers captured. Renato's voice broke. Ginagawa na nilang monster. They're turning them into monsters. Miggs closed his eyes. Sige. Got it. But he knew he'd keep looking. The truth. Back at Rizal Park, the engineers were questioned by a military officer. Anong ginagawa inyo sa Tanda? What were you doing in Tanda? Dr. Reyes hesitated, then showed her ID. Bahawi Engineers. Autonomous Weapons Division. The officer's eyes widened. Young AI turrets sa mga tank? The AI turrets on tanks. Pero hindi namin to Genoa. Yes. But we didn't make the virus. She pulled out a USB drive. Nagaruning malfunction sa global update. There was a malfunction in the global update. Lahing Bahawi systems napagtuhan. All Bahawi systems were affected. A soldier cursed. DBA sinabi inyo too? Didn't you report this? Pero hindi nila kami pananawalan. Yes. But they didn't believe us. Miggs watched them. Global disaster. Military tech. Monarchs evolving. Kaya di pa tapos too, he muttered. That's why this isn't over. Outside, the city burned. And somewhere the Hari were building an army. Happy New Year, and hopefully you liked this shorter versions. This is the second chapter of our new story with Mig.